Hi, I'm actress Becki Hayes, and I just had a very insightful and wonderful conversation with Keith Andrews, and I cannot recommend it enough. If he sends you an invite, take him up on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. That's right, the one and only Keith Andrew Network. It is episode 697. We're almost close to 700. So 697, I'm here. It's the talented and beautiful Becki Hayes. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Hi.
For people, now first off, it's a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest. Looking forward to our conversation, and what everyone gets out of it is, hey, you make a new friend out of it. But for people who want to know what's the point of the talk show, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. To never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. Is to prove to them is to amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, half hour of your time, maybe 20 minutes, 27 minutes to a half hour. I've been trying to knock down the time frame from being so long to not being so short, but I want to hit on those key points. So 27 minutes, you have as long as you want. You can give long answers, you can give short answers. As long as you're very talkative, that's all that really matters. So the first one I want to talk to you about, and for everyone who wants to know who talented and beautiful Becki Hayes is, you are a professional writer and a professional actress. So don't worry, your Instagram will be at the bottom of the screen so people can follow you. But the first question I want to ask you is, who influenced you to become an actress, and how many years have you been a writer?
Oh my goodness. Okay. I've had a love of writing since probably age 5. I was an early reader, and I started writing my own stories maybe preschool age, I don't know. And I was really taken by poetry as well. And so I remember sitting backwards in my mom's station wagon on the way to AFTRA because we lived in Houston. And I would write these very religious, heavy, deep poems. They would just come out of me. And, I'm a little elementary school girl. I don't know where they came from, but and then it turned into long form narrative stories. I had a fantastic 3rd grade English teacher who recognized my talent, and to this day I still remember her, Miss Johnson. I remember her name, I remember her face, and she encouraged me to really go for it, and to get into like yearbook and write competitively. So that's always been in there. Acting, kind of the same story. I wanted to do musical theater early on, and I had some success. I did Theater Under the Stars and performed at Alley Theater. I was on the track to become a professional singer. I was auditioning for like Star Search. I got to the 2nd round of auditions with like Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears for the new Mickey Mouse Club. I remember sitting with all them in McDonald's in Houston. I had no idea who they were at the time, of course, but so I was heading that way, and then this genetic hearing loss struck me down. It runs in my father's side of the family. It progressed faster and more tremendously than anyone else in my family, and it just took my hearing by about maybe 6th grade. Really, really rapid decline. I was down to maybe 3% hearing. I was profoundly deaf. And that was years and years as a deaf person, but I never learned sign. I just lip read, which is very confusing to some people, but I was mainstreamed. It would have personally for me proven very difficult to adapt to signing and have to join a different community, a new set of friends. And somehow, because I had wonderful friends that were kind of hearing or dogs for me, and because I had family members that had the same loss, and we all just kind of figured it out and made lip reading work for us. So I got by for years on very, very good lip reading. But there is a phenomena with hearing impaired people and people that rely on lip reading that, you know, you attend a social event, anything with more than like 3 people in a room, and within a couple of hours, you have this immense brain fatigue where you just want to go in a corner and fall asleep because you are just mentally exhausted from having to be so focused on everyone's faces and body language and trying to read context clues because you're not hearing what everyone's saying. And it's the most stressful environment to be in. And I remember early on in my relationship with my husband, he didn't quite understand. You know, he's like, we've been with my family for a couple of hours and now you're so exhausted you can't even talk to me. And I'm like, you will never understand. I love you, but you won't understand. I'm gonna go talk to my sister about it because she knows. She's been there. She knows what's going on. So, yeah, I have completely gotten off on a tangent, haven't I? But I hope it's been insightful.
No, it is.
It's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna reel it back in to the acting. So I lost my hearing, no longer musical theater for me. It was definitely not my strength. So acting was kind of a natural evolution. I have been with the same agent since I was 11 years old here in Houston, which is where I'm based. They have seen me grow up. Very loyal to them. They've always been wonderful. My manager that I had as a child came from that agency. I actually went to college out in LA and was there for 3 years self-submitting myself. I didn't have representation. And I happened to see in the breakdowns that they were looking for a deaf girl to play a part in an ABC episodic called Gideon's Crossing. And this girl was portraying a deaf child, 14 years old. I was 25. And she was at odds with her 2 deaf parents because of her decision to get cochlear implants. She was very bullheaded and didn't want to listen to them. And so I somehow got that part on my own. And my mother was played by Marlee Matlin, who you asked who was a huge influence for me as a child. There you go. So you can imagine how incredible that experience was for me. We wrapped, and the last day she came over to me and she just said, Becki, welcome to Hollywood. And I just, when someone like that tells you that, you're like, okay, I'm meant to be here. This is for me. That aired in 2001. And I remember I went back home to Texas and I saw in the newspaper that they were looking for willing study, what do you call them? Study patients that wanted to put themselves under the knife for cochlear implant surgery, bilateral. This was one of the first studies for having them implanted bilaterally. I did not have much to lose at that point. So I said, go ahead, change my life. and no regrets. It's, for me personally, has been life-changing. Absolutely.
No, I agree with you. So knock on wood, it worked out for the best.
I don't see how it could not have worked out for the best. Now, for some, it doesn't. I had a friend that was one of the first. She only had on one side. She was born deaf, though, which is different than me. And I think it's probably more difficult to adapt to the implant if you have no earlier recognition of sound whatsoever. Because I don't know what your brain has to pull from. Because it's your brain processing the new sounds, and it's a rehabilitative phase where you start hearing things organically. You don't at first. It's like your brain is really adapting. And I had recall. I think that was helpful in the process. She, on the other hand, couldn't deal with it. She took it out, and so now she just has one dead ear. She has an implant in there that's not activated, and that's her choice, and she's happy with that. So I respect it. I respect it.
No, I agree. You have to do what's best for you.
Right, right.
So the next question I want to ask you is social media. Can social media make you or break you with everything that you accomplish in your life for your acting career, for your writing? Does Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, do these websites dictate if people should work with you or if it leads to connections?
I've taken some courses in social media, and it was also part of a curriculum that I did in business for actors with Bonnie Gillespie, which is phenomenal, life-changing too. And you know, some of what she talks about is social media, but it's more in the vein of your social media has to reflect your brand, your product, and you're selling to the masses. So who do you want them to know you as? What do you want your image to be? And I wrestle with that a lot. And for me personally, I found that I'm just mean. If you look at my Instagram, I guess my image, my brand is very genuinely me, and that seems to be working really well. I don't feel like I need to overthink anything that I post, and it's just kind of what's coming up in my life. I'm a mom. I have 2 girls. I post about them, my cats, but a lot of performance videos, and that's really comes from just being excited and wanting to share, because I'm a storyteller and I want people to see my interpretation of these stories. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? So.
I agree with you 100%. But was there anything, like, say, what was your very first acting role? We got taking a guess. When you started your career, social media was kind of relevant, but pretty much everything up to this point, because everything is now focused around, social media. Do you get any of your roles like sent to you by Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or do you just do the old-fashioned way?
Lately, some of the relationships that I have been building through social media have led to audition opportunities, like fantastic audition opportunities. And I actually was cast in a feature film that's going to be filming in Romania next year. Very excited, phenomenal director. It's his first directorial debut in writing this film. And we developed a relationship through Facebook. It was an acting group. And I just started sending him some of my work. And he just said, I think I might have a part for you. And it was offered to me, which floored me. That was a first for me. Just to have somebody see me, you know. And I've had 3 casting directors actually send me auditions that maybe I worked with in a workshop and then kept in touch and sent them new updates. And it's all about relationship building, but it needs to be genuine. You know, I found that casting directors are like the nicest, realest, most loving and generous people on the planet. I mean, they're really special. Like, to want to do casting, I think you have to be insane and completely selfless. I mean, they watch thousands of videos and they don't skip one. They give everybody a chance. And I think it's unbelievable. It's unfathomable, you know, but you have to really want to do that. You have to really want to help actors to continue to do that job. So.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick muscle break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about a little more about disabilities, how that was acting, and then I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Linda Collins.
Hi, I'm Marissa Joy Davis.
This is Michelle Wong.
And I'm Nancy Rose.
My name is Brandy Hunt. And
hello, my name is Raven Nguyen.
Hi there, my name is Giovanna Vidal.
Hi, I'm Monica Thomas.
Hi, I'm Paisley Blackburn.
I'm Ashley Burgess.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Abney.
Hi, I'm Sharon Spank.
Hey, this is Samantha Moore.
Hi, I'm Melody Jones.
Hi, my name is Becki Yee.
Hi, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
I'm your host, Keith Andrew, and welcome back from the commercial break on the Keith Andrew Network. I'm here with Rebecca. Let me do it again. That's Becki, right? Okay. Good thing for editing, because you can always edit all this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Keith Andrew Network, episode 697. That's right, 697. We're close to that number of 700. Maybe, who knows, I might join that 700 club. But anyway, you're just poking a little fun at that. But seriously, I'm here with professional actress Becki Hayes, and I just want to say it's great to have me on the show. We're having a lot of fun, and let's continue it with the last 10 minutes left.
All right. What you got for me?
The first question I want to ask you is, for someone who wants to follow in your footsteps, how would someone go about that if they have a learning disability? I know you mentioned earlier in the show you had a hearing problem, and now, not gonna let you have perfect hearing. But say a group of people with disabilities, and you are an inspiration, number one, but say a group of people want to follow in your footsteps, what would your words of wisdom be for those people?
Keep fighting for yourself and don't take no for an answer. I just recently gained representation in a disability department of a very prominent agency in LA. And that was sheer will and determination. She turned me down so many times because I don't quite fit the mold of a deaf person. I'm not ASL fluent. I don't really even know enough sign to be the stereotypical Hollywood deaf person in a movie. And I had to try so many times to explain to her I want to expand Hollywood's view of a deaf person because I am profoundly deaf, but I look like this because I have cochlear implants. I want to see more of us on the screen. So let's work together and get me on the screen. And I finally broke through to her. And that's the acting business. I mean, it's 99% rejection. You have to have a tough skin. You have to, know that the work is the auditioning and the connection making and the classes and the networking and, refining your materials, keeping them updated. I mean, it's a constant grind. And booking roles are actually this rare reward that you get after all of this work. And you have to love it or don't do it. But the disability part, I think there's a wave, a revolution going through Hollywood where it's actually very empowering to be disabled. If you're also good, if you're good and you're disabled, it's actually a strength. It can put you in a special group and give you opportunities that others don't have. I've been talking to casting directors. A lot of them are casting blindly. They're welcoming anyone who wants to attempt whatever part they're casting. They want to see all these different versions, all the different colors of possibilities for this role. Men playing women, women playing men, LGBTQ. It doesn't matter. And I really see changes happening. It's very encouraging. So if you have a disability, it's not such a big deal anymore. It's pretty great. So keep going.
No, absolutely. It's funny, because I'm a big wrestling fan, they actually recently had the women's revolution, where they say, it's time for women to take the spotlight. So now they have their own Royal Rumble match. They did their own Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. And actually, eventually, they will headline WrestleManias. And it's kind of funny to mention people with disabilities. I can't see without my glasses, and some people say I have my head up my ass. But I would like to be a part of the wrestling world in some shape or form. Maybe like a manager, maybe working backstage. As long as I get, my foot through the door and say, hey, I got the experience and I experienced it in different shapes and forms, at least it will be, I'm kind of looking for closure. Because if you watch something all your life, for an example, Almost Famous for me, I wanted to be a personal assistant. I wanted to go on tour. I wanted to be a roadie. But at the Miami, there's a truck outside. I have my window open. But, there's this thing where when you see something long enough, it kind of gets engraved into your head. And Mikey said, don't take no for an answer, because I'm a perfect example of that. My whole family says that about me, that, one reason I rub people the wrong way is because I do not take no for an answer. Someone says no, that's the end of it. For me, I'm like a dog with a bone. So no, if you're very passionate about what you want, go and do it. So for me, about wrestling, it's kind of like, hey, I at least want to try it. Even if it fails, at least I can say I attempted it. But you need, and I said this because I've been interviewing kid actors who are upcoming into business. I said to them, never do anything half-ass. If you're going to do something, do it 100%, put a passion behind it, or don't do it at all. Because from experience, I did things half-ass, hey, okay, I don't want to really be doing this now, but I need the money, drag it out, because you're wasting your time and you're wasting everyone else's time. So you have to be very passionate about what you do in your life. For me, I want to do this talk show until the day I die. And that's something I'm very passionate about. If I wasn't, I would have gave up a long time ago. But I'm going to pass this show over to you. It's the last 3 minutes left. Was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you wanted to promote? This is your time.
Oh my goodness. I'm like a deer caught in headlights here. I honestly can't think of a thing. Oh, I guess, okay. I think a lot of people are dealing with a roller coaster of emotions right now because of the quarantine.
Right.
And I think my avoidance tactic happens to be occupying yourself and burning the candle at both ends and going 24/7 nonstop productive activity And so I don't want to say that I'm happy this happened, but I'm very grateful because I'm getting opportunities to network with casting directors and directors and managers and agents in markets way beyond my own, via Zoom and virtually, that did not exist before the quarantine. So, and I know I'm not alone in that. There are a lot of us that are really gaining a lot of opportunities in this. And so we are choosing to embrace that and see that positive, result rather than all of the negativity that's going on. And so you'll see optimism in my posts and in my messages, because kind of like, why not? Life is too short. So just, make the best of the time that you have right now, and just look forward to this huge burst of production and filming and creativity and art that is coming. So it is, and it will. So keep on grinding.
A wise man once said to me, enjoy it's not the destination, it's the journey that matters.
I live by follow your bliss. And my grandfather told me that. He's no longer on this earth, but I try to stick to that. And I feel like thus far I've done a pretty good job.
No, absolutely. Now I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, the last two questions I want to ask you. How can people follow you on social media? Are you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
I'm on it all. I'm on all of it. I am Rebecca Hayes on Instagram, Becki Hayes TX on Twitter, and my acting page on Facebook is just Becki Hayes Actress.
No, absolutely. And my last question for you is, I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your honest first reaction? What made you say yes? And after being a guest, how do you feel now, and would you recommend it to other people?
I would. Initially I have to do my due diligence, because you kind of have to filter out. I get, a lot of things. If people slide into my DM that are, not the best creatures on earth. So I kind of followed my gut, and it was telling me that this was okay, and you were such a gentleman, and I didn't feel any type of ickiness there. So, and it's been great. I highly recommend it.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege to have me as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.